Okie dokie. So Eddie here. All right. So this is going to be the video tutorial for class number 5. So this is the first half of the video for how to write an IELTS-based advantages and disadvantages essay. All right. So let's get started here. All right. So for an IELTS-based advantage and disadvantage essay, there's going to be four, same as the IELTS-based opinion essay. There's going to be 4 paragraphs, okay? And you want to make sure you write at least 250 words, all right? So when you start your essay, you're going to get a sample prompt like this. So a sample prompt one can expect when given an IELTS-based advantages and disadvantages essay. Alright, so here, let's go through it right here. So it says, in some countries, young people are encouraged to work or travel for a year between finishing high school and starting university studies. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages for young people who decide to do this. Alright, so as a recap, there are about 5 different essay types for the when you do take the IELTS test. Last week, we finished up with the opinion essay. That's the most prevalent, the ones that you're most likely to get, but you could get other essay types as well. All right. So last week I taught you guys how to do the 11-step process to write an IELTS-based opinion essay, and this week it's very similar to that, but instead of opinion, it's going to be advantages and disadvantages. And so this essay, you talk about the advantages and disadvantages, and then you come up with a conclusion. All right. Okay, so this is the sample prompt, and so very much like an IELTS-based opinion essay, what you're going to need to do is the first sentence. It's going to be a paraphrase question. So what you're going to do is you're just going to look at this real quick and make a 1-sentence paraphrase using synonyms. Okay, so paraphrase this into your own words, and that's going to be the first sentence. So for all IELTS-based opinion. All IELTS-based essays, they're all going to have a paraphrase question. So the prompt that you're given, which was this right here, and then you paraphrase it into 1 sentence into your own words. All right. So okay. So again, an IELTS-based advantages and disadvantages essay should have 4 paragraphs, like I mentioned before, and the first paragraph is the introductory paragraph. This paragraph should have 2 sentences. All right. So again, same as the opinion essay. For advantage, disadvantage essay, really the most important thing is make sure you get your introductory paragraph correct. Because once you get your introductory paragraph correct, then the rest of the essay just flows real quickly. And so remember, also as another recap, when you do take an official IELTS test, you're going to have only 1 hour to complete the writing section. But there's going to be 2 tasks. So therefore, task number 1, which is what we covered in class number 2. You should spend about 20 minutes on that, and that leaves task number 2, which is what we're doing here today, about 40 minutes. Okay, so you're not going to have a whole lot of time, but you want to make sure you write a well-developed essay and write at least 250 words. Okay, and then very similar to the opinion essay, there's an outline statement. So this is where you introduce your topic sentences for body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. Alright, so let's get started here. So this would be an example of an introductory paragraph for the prompt that you were given. Okay, so before embarking on college, many young people are advised that a year working or traveling may be a good option. This essay will first suggest that experiences gained and money saved are the biggest advantages of this, but delaying careers and reducing motivation to study are the primary disadvantages. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're just the first sentence. We're paraphrasing the prompt. So it's talking about how some people like to take a gap year. That's what this is. When you take a break between high school and university. British English, we call it a gap year. I'm from America. We don't. Typically, Americans don't do this a lot, so the term gap year is not so common, but I think it's more common with British English. All right, and then here we talk about the we list the advantage, or one of the advantages, and then disadvantage. So hence the two body paragraphs. One body paragraph is going to talk about the advantages, and then the other body paragraph, it's going to talk about the disadvantages. Okay, so you always like to bring up the good things first. So body paragraph 1 is where we're talking about the advantages. Okay, all right, and so there are going to be 4 sentences for the body paragraph 1. So you have the topic sentence, which we already introduced in the introductory paragraph, so that should take care of the first sentence. And always the first sentence, it's usually that's the one that maybe takes the longest to write. So once you get that taken care of, the rest of it just flows. Okay, so you have the topic sentence, then you explain the first advantage, then you explain the second advantage. So this is very similar to the opinion essay, where you had the topic sentence, and then the second sentence where we expand on the topic. Very similar in this situation. You have your topic sentence, and you're expanding on the topic sentence by introducing the first advantage, and the third sentence you're introducing the second advantage, and lastly, and very similar to the opinion essay, you just give an example. All right, okay, it's really simple. I should say it's really simple if you remember the steps. So if you remember the steps, it will just flow and go really quickly, and then you'll get that high IELTS score. So again, if you follow what I'm teaching here, expect to get at least a 6.0 on the writing part, or higher, but at least a minimum 6.0. That's the goal for this class. Okay, so when you came to the class, in order to take Plan C courses, you need at least a 5.5 CFR score, and so hopefully everybody improves. So we have a minimum requirement. We want people by the end of the term to have a 6.0 band score. All right. Okay, and then here's the example of body paragraph 1. So the main advantages of a gap year are learning more about the world and earning money. For students who have just finished secondary school, working or traveling for a year will allow them to learn what life is like outside the educational system. Also, third level education is very expensive, and a lot of students decide to work for 12 months and save up money before they begin their studies. The Times recently reported that the average student at a UK university requires $12,000 per annum, or per year, just to survive, and many drop out because they cannot afford to stay. And of course, these numbers, they're old numbers, so obviously now at least in the West, America, it's really expensive to go to university. If I would have known about Thailand when I was in school, I would have much rather gone to school in Thailand. But anyways, so to get back to what we're talking about here. Okay, so this is the structure of an IELTS-based advantage-disadvantage essay for body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. Okay, so that's it for today. And then next week we'll cover the body paragraph 2, which is obviously going to be the disadvantages, and then we'll cover the conclusion, and then next week you will know, by the end of next week, you will know how to write an IELTS-based advantage-disadvantage essay. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in class.